if there is no health, it doesn't matter how much of anything else you have. It's very well said by our guest speaker, Poornima Vamsi, as one's greatest wealth is their health. Poornima is a certified energetic breakthrough method practitioner and hormone balance coach. She has studied the importance of hormones in women's body and how the hormonal imbalances create havoc. She knows exactly what works when we struggle to see that weighing scale go down. So welcome everyone to the Thrive In Perimenopause Summit. This is your host Sonal Singhal, and let me talk to Poornima on your behalf and get all your answers, all your questions answered. So welcome Poornima, and the topic of your talk is very interesting and pertinent in the life of all women, as it is so natural for us to go through hormonal fluctuations throughout our lives. And
absolutely.
Yet not each one of us go after studying hormonal health in details. So I wonder, what was your reason for inspiring you to take the role of hormone balance coach?
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sonal, for giving a beautiful startup of what it is that I do. So diving to your question of, what motivated me to be at the place that I am here today, it has to definitely do with my own health. I think that is when we all realize that something is not really working. What is it that we can do to see that we have that dream version of health that we all intend to have? So my story goes back to approximately, I would say 6 years now, 5 to 6 years now, when I had delivered my second child, and then I was on thyroid medication. So while being pregnant, I got diagnosed with thyroid, or just before being pregnant, I got diagnosed. And then that was, I would say, one of the most unhappy moment for me, that I have to take a thyroid medication all through my life. And that's the general way any GP, any specialist puts it, that once on thyroid medication, forever on it. Mm-hmm. And being a person who loves eating what I like, who loves enjoying nature, who loves being happy, chirpy, I could not see myself taking one supplement or one tablet every single morning as soon as I wake up as a start of my day, to ensure that my thyroid gland functions to the best of its potential. Mm-hmm. However, I had no go. And that was because my doctor had specifically told me that if I had to retain my pregnancy, then that medication had to go inside to support the fetus growth. So long story short, I took it for 9 full months. And then after I delivered my baby, I thought I could come out of it, but I could not. Mm-hmm. Now, when I could not come out of it, it kept frustrating me at every stage of my life when I was taking that medication for 5 years. And I was hell-bent on identifying what is it that I can do to bring myself out of those thyroid tablets. While that was on one side, the other side, it was my mom's health. Overnight, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Mm-hmm. And when she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, everybody in the family were shocked, because the discipline that she had towards her food, towards her exercises, and in general towards her day-to-day routine. Now, with the conception that we have, that if you eat right, if you work out 5 days a week or 4 days a week, you would have optimum health, was mm-hmm. was nullified in my mom's case. Mm-hmm. So it further allowed me to get into the root cause of what are we women made of? Mm-hmm. Why are there so many imbalances that it could even lead to cancer, and that to stage 4 without any symptoms being identified at earlier stages. Mm-hmm. And all these were the two primary reasons that I went deep into studying hormonal imbalances in women, and that which allowed me to not only transform my life, but my mom's as well.
So Poornima, I wonder, what were the symptoms you would be, you were facing if you don't take your thyroid medication at that time?
Oh, that's a beautiful question, I would say, because, when I stopped taking thyroid medication after my delivery, I thought, it would all be fine. Mm-hmm. It's all right, I can stop it. And then I stopped it. I saw that it led to postpartum depression. So I cried for no good reason. I lost attachment towards my second child. There were moments in life which today when I look back, I'm like, even did I even think of it? But there were moments in life when I did not want to care for my baby. I felt it as a total burden, and I probably went to the extent of thinking, did I make a right decision of conceiving my second child and delivering? I know it's a very vulnerable topic, but I'm open to speaking about it because I know there are many women like me who would resonate with it. So postpartum depression, extreme mood swings, irritability, lethargic, not being able to do day-to-day chores to the maximum potential that we would otherwise are few of the symptoms that I would say came to me when I stopped taking thyroid medication.
And
Weight gain, yes, sorry, yeah, of course, weight gain. I was standing at a 90 kgs after my delivery, so my weight was stagnated over there, and that also comes with thyroid. But I give preference to the other ones that I just said, yeah, more than the weight. So yeah, these are the ones that I saw as symptoms with my thyroid.
And then you also said that you didn't like taking your thyroid medication. And what was the
Yes.
reason for that?
I'm a strong believer of, that's very personally again, I'm a strong believer of, we have the ability to be able to live our life to the fullest without any additional supplementation for a particular part of the body to function. See, now I know living in different parts of the world, we all take vitamin D supplement. That's because we are not exposed to sun. So it makes a sense that, you take a vitamin D supplement, and that too, if you have been diagnosed with a low vitamin D, which unfortunately most of us are. So vitamin D is fine to the minimal extent. Apart from that, even for iron supplement, when we have all those foods which will increase our folic levels, which increase our hemoglobin levels, why go for a supplement? And when you don't have an option but to take it as a first thing in the morning, I don't want to start my day with popping a tablet and then waiting for half an hour to either brush or have a glass of water. So that was the strong urge behind me not wanting to take anything.
But apart from that, you didn't experience any side effects of that medication?
But taking the medication? I would not say I experienced any side effects. No, it in fact maintained my TSH levels. It did maintain my TSH levels. My weight did not come down as such, but it maintained my TSH levels, and probably, my mood swings were a little less than not taking. But no, I did not experience any side effects of taking that medication. And I would say that, today, now that I'm not taking for close to this September, it will be 3 years that I'm not taking. I don't know if I had continued to take for longer duration, if it would have had any at all. But at least for me, I did not have. I have heard my women say, whom I have worked with, that they do have side effects of taking that thyroid medication for a longer time, from hair shedding to, it leading to PCOS, PCOD, etc.
Okay. So how are you now? I mean, with the energetic breakthrough method that you're practicing, I never heard about it. So, and I assume from the name that it is it is a type of energy healing method. How are you feeling with that? I mean, compared to when you were taking thyroid prescription and now you're not taking and using that method in your daily life. I'm assuming you're using.
Absolutely. I think it's like, brushing 2 times a day. We have a choice to either brush 2 times a day or just brush once. But if we choose to brush 2 times a day, we know we are maintaining our oral hygiene to the best of its, to its best optimum way. So likewise, yes, you're right in saying that I still use it. Now, coming to what are the shifts that I have seen. So going back a little to how, my mom's health got diagnosed with a stage 4 cancer. So that is what allowed me to go deeper. And when I went deeper studying about what hormones could do to us, how it could impact us, does food really, really play a major role, or is it, partial role, what exactly it is? I understood that food plays 20% role. Exercises play 20% role. The remainder 60% has a lot to do with our emotional well-being and the neuro-language patterns that we use for ourselves. Now, all of this binds to one single thing, that is the stress that we undergo in our life. Of the years of practice that I have been doing with myself and with the women that I work with, I have not heard one single woman who has told me my stress is zero. So that is something which I think none of us would say. So from there, I started to work on what led to my thyroid levels going high. And when I went to the root cause, I saw how I was stressed with a particular personal situation at work, which had lot of tension running in and around me, and that which actually went and targeted my thyroid gland. So now, as the studies went deeper, and as I realized the 2020 for food and exercises, I went back to eating what I should be eating from my traditional foods. Up until then, I tried fat diets. I went into GM Motors diet. I went into salads and juices. I went into getting cool sculpting done, to see if the fat can be frozen. So there are several things that I tried. They work up to a certain extent. But unless we learn to handle our emotional handlers, unless we learn to identify our neuro-language patterns, which all come from the energetic breakthrough method practitioner certification that I have done, I can vouch that we will not be able to stay consistent with whatever we aim as our dream health. So when I learned those aspects and implemented, from 90, I came to 60. From taking thyroid medications from 90 kgs, I know different countries use pounds and kgs. Yeah. So from 90 kgs, I came down to 60 kgs. So that's a straight 30 kgs drop that I saw. And then from taking thyroid medication for 5 years, I stopped taking thyroid medication because my TSH were well within the medical parameters that the doctors use to gauge. So I stopped taking thyroid medication. And I would say, more than my own achievement, Sonal, the classic example that I quote to several people that I speak with is how my mom reversed her stage 4 cancer.
That
In
I
one
want to
and a
hear
half
more.
years.
Because
Yes,
I lost my mother due to breast cancer, and I was not into healing or coaching at that time. But that's how I am also here. So I am eager to hear about your mother's recovery.
Sure. So again, it goes back to the energetic breakthrough method. If I have to throw some light on what it is, more than it just being an energetic healing, it is about we diving deep within us. It is about the answers that we have to give the inner child that has been craving attention for. It is about working with our shadow, which we have left behind long ago. It is about observing the language we use as we communicate every single day with respect to all aspects of our life. And it is about, activating your energetic chakras, creating that aura within you, which will then allow you to surround yourself with energetic aura that helps in healing. So I would not just call it as an energetic healing practice, because people do get confused with, is it Reiki? Is it hypnotherapy? Is it naturotherapy? Is it any of those? It is not. It is about that person. So with my mom, for that matter, I loved, yes, I mean, she did not have to go through chemotherapy, which was excellent. She had to go through hormone therapy, which is sort of taking a pill every single day. And however, the doctors had told after her diagnosis that there is no cure for this.
Yeah.
Probably
Stage
what we
4.
can,
Yeah.
yes, stage 4, there is no cure for it. And when someone says that, especially with health, when someone says there is no this for that, it drives me even more to understand that why there isn't one. So I think that's something very natural and instinctive for me. So I started working with mom, and I mean, well, how much ever we can support, it is her willpower too. So as we worked through her self-healing, self-identifying of root cause and self-healing process, we kind of unblocked several things that were lying within her from the age when she was 30, 35, 40. while she was still disciplined, following her regular diet, following exercises, but there were lots of emotional knots and blocks that got left behind within her, which had to be unrooted. And as she learned to unroot those emotional knots and blocks, from 2019, Jan 9th, when she got diagnosed with a stage 4 cancer, to 2020, December 15th, when she went into state of remission. So I'm speaking about approximately 2 years. 2 years is what I'm speaking. PET scan is done once in 6 months. So 1, 2, 3, and the 4th PET scan that we did for her, they said she's in a state of remission. With the recent PET scan that we did 2-3 months back, there are no active cancer cells in her body.
Wow.
While the doctor team might call it as a state of remission, Sonal, I, as an individual, as a daughter to that woman, I would say she's cured. That is what
I mean, this is such a happy news, I will say, you know, because when it comes to cancer, we are always thinking, you know, some trauma happening, you know, but not because of cancer, but because of chemotherapy or radiation. You know, it's very difficult. I mean, the one side, the person is already emotionally traumatized because by knowing that they are suffering from this disease, and other side, these chemicals are devastating their life. So
absolutely,
So,
absolutely, and it is traumatizing not just to the person. I think it is traumatizing to the entire family. Now that also played a huge role in how I again went into depression, because I was doing so much for her. I was worried, I was talking to different doctors. I was running from pillar to post to identify what it is that I could do. So there were lots of emotions that were blocked within me too. When after I came back to Melbourne, I was in India with her, supporting her for 6 months. And when I came back to Melbourne, I realized I was getting into depression.
Yes.
So, you know, it's very important. Yeah, it's very important, not just for the person, but for the one who is supporting, to also care for themselves. Otherwise, all those unresolved emotional knots and blocks will become a root cause for something else for that person.
So I hope you have helped yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Sonal. And I'm so glad that, you know, I'm at a place today where not only mom, not only me, but there are so many women out there who have been served with their dream health. So yeah, that's a true blessing that I consider.
So would you like to tell something about your clients and, you know, some success story with their hormonal health?
Sure. So I support clients, or I serve clients as of now from 7 different countries. And, you know, each of the person, and somehow my heart has always been with women who are from my origin. And that is because I feel we are the ones who do less justice to ourselves and then give ourselves out to rest of the world. So that said, with the clientele that I have worked, I have had women who have come with high thyroid numbers, high diabetes numbers, PCOD, PCOS issues, irregular menstrual cycle, depression, anxiety. So several clients from different categories have approached, and I have been able to help them or serve them in a way where today those clients have either reversed their thyroid, reverse their diabetes, come off the insulin injections that they were asked to take, dropped up to 17 kgs in 87 days, have altered and transformed their life. And I say this because, you know, they have tried, each of them who come, they have tried so many things before. It's not that they just realize that they have thyroid and they have come and seen Poornima. No, they have tried different fat diets. They have tried naturopathy. They have tried several things. But what we need to understand is we have the capacity within us to help ourselves. And how it needs to be done should be guided by someone who has walked that path. So while we always look for external factors, oh, can this doctor help? Can this specialist help? Can this person help? How about once diving deep within us and asking ourselves, do I want to help myself? And that way, when I have, you know, kind of provoked my clients through the practices, to the energetic breakthrough method, practices, resources, and tools that comes along as my coaching program, women have had women have had, I would say, life-altering, what's the right word? It's just not coming in my mind. But, they have come out, they have identified things that they did not knew existed within them. And that which, when worked through, has allowed them to see the transformation. The aha moments, literally the aha moments.
So, Poornima, when it comes to perimenopause, generally the experts are saying that, too much hormonal fluctuation is happening. So it is natural for us to go for mood swings, this and that, all these experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is the method? Is it like acceptance of our natural state, we are going through, or is there anything, which can keep us calm and at ease even during these fluctuations? Is it possible?
Sure. Yes, 100% it is. So now, if we notice, the menopausal age these days have come forward, while probably my mom had her menopause approximately at 55, 56, or even close to 60. These days, I see women who are having menopause and perimenopause at 45. There are women who are 37, 38 and talk about menopausal symptoms. I'm like, no, that's something you're feeding yourself with, that you have menopausal symptoms, you have this. Not really. So coming to your question of, yes, we will have mood swings. We will have mood swings every month when we have our periods. And that's normal because our hormones are fluctuating. Now, what we want to do with those mood swings is something that is within our control, Sonal. And when I say it is within our control, that statement might be made by me very easily, but it takes effort to be able to identify that. And that's where, we need to learn to go deeper within ourselves to understand why these mood swings are happening. Say, for example, today my son did I have two young ones. So, for example, if I'm close to my periods is just a week away. So the symptoms start showing up even for small things at home. So if my 5-year-old did something on just a week before my periods, my reaction would be very different to if he did the same thing 10 days after my periods. So when it is the ovulation cycle, that time the reaction is totally different to what it is just before, premenstrual symptom at that point in time. So the situation is same, my reaction is different, which means I need to learn to identify that if before the periods I am reacting this way, why am I doing it? Have I gone with the kind of belief system that I instilled in myself that, yeah, premenstrual symptoms is very common, mood swings is common. So I'm having mood swings, I will behave that way. Have I instilled that belief in me? And if I have instilled that belief in me, is there a way I can work around it to see if I want to first let go of that belief? And if I'm not able to let go of that belief, because it's approximately what my first cycle started when I was 11, 12, today I'm 37. So 25 years plus, if I have been with that belief system, it's engraved in me. So it takes effort to be able to identify situations, circumstances of what is it that is allowing us to react, and can we choose to respond? So it does take deep inner.
Hello.
Sorry.
Yeah. I lost you, but we are back now.
Yeah, sure. Good. So the best tip that I would suggest to someone is whenever you have a mood swing, probably be it because of your periods, be it that you're experiencing menopausal symptoms, you should allow yourself to get deeper within it. And the best way that I found myself doing it is through journaling and asking myself certain thought-provoking questions that I have learned through my certification, which has allowed me to, open myself up and answer them.
So it's more about journaling and asking questions, but is there anything else involved there for energetically releasing those emotions?
Yes, it is. So they're called the journeys of consciousness. Now, that is something that I'm offering as part of our summit too, for women to experience it. So the journey of consciousness, which are the I would call it as a new age meditative practice, because when we think of meditation, we kind of go deep into, oh my God, the immediate picture that might come is, do I have to sit under a tree and then, become a sage and then meditate for hours together? No. The new age meditative practice, or the journeys to consciousness, is what I would say, will, in a span of 7 to 9 minutes, there are practices that I would be sharing, which when followed will allow us to identify that this is the reason why I am behaving or choosing to behave this way. So definitely these journeys of consciousness has allowed me. I have a journey of consciousness for activating the thyroid gland. I have journey of consciousness for people who are sleep deprived, who cannot sleep through. I have journey of consciousness to, heal the inner child, to shower ourselves with radical self-love. So these are all journeys of consciousness that I have worked on myself and recorded in my voice, which has enabled my clients' transformation. And every time someone comes back to tell me, how it has transformed or altered their life, be it allowing them to sleep for 8 long hours, be it allowing them to identify something that happened when they were 8 years old, which got triggered because they worked on healing the inner child, are the ones which will be used as journaling prompts, and then the further journaling and using a method to release it will allow us to stay at peace.
Okay, nice. And then what about your 30-30-20-20 rule? What is it about? I mean, you touched it briefly, but I thought it is
Yes.
more about food or food plate, but I think it is something else.
No, yeah, it's not just about food. So it's called the 20-20-30-30 rule that
Okay.
I call as. So the first, I spoke about the first two, 20-20. The first one, and this is for every woman who will be listening to us. Always remember, no fad diets can allow you to transform your life. They will help you to temperamentally see that weighing scale go down. And if that is what you want, then probably that's something you might want to choose. But if you're really, really keen on working with the root cause of your health symptoms, then remember to eat your traditional foods. That traditional foods can be different for different people, what you have been raised with. If it has not harmed you as your mother was carrying you, as you were a child, as you were a teenager, as you were a young adult, it cannot cause any harm to you today. So if you stand on the weighing scale and see your weight, speak a number that you don't like, it is not the food. So that's the reason 20% goes to food. We will still continue to eat our traditional foods, and food doesn't play a major role. The next 20%, there is a lot of myth around, do one exercise and have flat abs. Oh my God, I really, really wish that it worked in wonders in that way. It doesn't. They're all marketing gimmicks, advertising methodologies that people use to ensure, that product is purchased. But it is necessary that we do something on a consistent basis. And that something which we do, Sonal, should be to our liking. Like today, if I'm a person who likes doing weight training, you ask me to go and swim, I won't.
Yeah.
I might do it for a week, 10 days, but if I'm forced into it, I will give up after the duration that I'm enrolled for. So likewise, when we pick up a metabolic activity, which is the second 20%, our subconscious mind has allowed us to do it. It has to motivate us to be able to do whatever it is. It can be dancing, jogging, running, doing workout at home, anything, but pick something that you like doing. So that's the second 20%. The first 30% is the emotional well-being. Now, when I talk about emotional well-being, it is about, as a child, you would have had a hobby that would have been left out for some reason. Life took over, life became busy, or some reason, today you're not able to follow through. But it is very important to be able to pick and do something that will allow you to be you. Be you while you're still working on your business or with your job, with your children, with your partner. If you do not give yourself that opportunity to do that thing that you so love doing as your hobby, as your passion, your emotions are blocked. And that, when it gets blocked, again becomes the root cause for anything and everything. And the other 30% is about, for some reason my mind has gone blank of what the other 30% is. But yeah, it also
Emotions.
again, yes, it also again has a lot to do with how well are you responding or reacting to a situation? How conscious are you about your thoughts? What are you feeding yourself with? Are you regularly feeding yourself, looking at the mirror every morning and telling, I don't like the way I look? How about changing it for once to, I love the way I look? I know it's difficult, especially when we are engraved with this thought of uh, liking ourselves comes with the physical well-being rather than the overall well-being. When I say physical well-being, how we look in as our shape in the mirror, rather than holistic well-being. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're just seeing a physical form of you, and then you feed yourself with those thoughts, emotions, which leads to actions of you making decisions that will further allow you to be in the state that you already are in. So that needs a shift. And that shift comes with, what you are thinking. Just because you want a quick fix, are you getting into a fad diet, doing it for 30 days, loving your body for the next 10 days, 15 days, where you have dropped 5 to 7 kgs or 10 kgs, and then start to binge eat because you have not tackled your emotional handlers, because you have not worked with your stress. And then, after 15 days, you go back to being where you were earlier, or more than that, you get into that vicious cycle. Now, it's very difficult to come out of that vicious cycle if there is no conscious decision made. And that is the reason I talk more about the 30% rather than just the 20 food, 20 exercise.
So I believe the last 30 is more about self-talk.
Yes, definitely more about what an individual is feeding their mind with. And that feeding comes with the social environment that we mingle, comes with the advertisements that we see on social media, and in general also, with our upbringing. What have we been told? What are the different beliefs that we have? How have we turned that beliefs into facts? They might not be the facts, but how have we turned it into the facts? All of those.
So I think you have given like a wonderful information to us, and I feel like I have definitely benefited by whatever you have mentioned here. And thank you for being here on the Thrive in Perimenopause Summit. And I would definitely like to hear, what our audience feel. So
Sure.
now it's time to learn from you about the gift you are sharing with our VIP audiences.
Sure.
And before you go ahead, just a gentle reminder to our listeners to check the link below this video for getting all the details on what Poornima is offering in the VIP package. The Summit VIP package, I will say it's something not to be missed out, as you can avail all the valuable gifts by our Summit speakers at a flat price of $197. So please.
Beautiful, sure. So I always believe, like all the 3-4 things that I told, 20, 20, 30, 30, that is something that I'm going to share with our wonderful audience. So it has to do with about, how we can go back to eating our roots. What is the metabolic activity that you can identify? And then how about the next 2 things that you need to work on? So it's a 10 days detox, hormonal detox package that I'm offering, along with journeys of consciousness. So that is something that I'm offering to the wonderful audience over here, which I'm sure when implemented will start to transform the life of the person.
I think, amazing. This is like a very good opportunity for improving someone's health, not only health, hormonal health and overall well-being. And I really appreciate Poornima for giving us this gift. So with this, I would like to say thanks to you for coming over and enlightening us about hormonal health. And don't forget that the summit content is available for free for 48 hours after the summit. So take maximum advantage of this free learning opportunity. And bye for now. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Sonal, for this wonderful opportunity. And I have always ended, I know you started with it, I always ended with my quote, which I say, if there is no health, it does not matter how much of anything else we have. So probably the time to wake up, rise and shine. Thank you so much, Sonal.